The Ugly Stepsister. Now, this was a film that came out, I want to say, a little bit earlier this year during the course of the summer. Don't quote me on it. And it is spectacular. Spectacular in the sense that it takes something that we've always known and true to ourselves, and everybody told the story of Cinderella. And funny enough, depending on the culture, the story or the narrative changes. But this is a perspective that no one, it was like right there, it was low hanging fruit, but no one ever thought of it, you know? What was the perspective of a stepsister, the ugly stepsister in this story? Even by watching this film, I sometimes forget about Cinderella, who she is, the story of Cinderella, because I'm so enthralled, I'm so locked in on the story of the ugly stepsister. So, again, if you're familiar with the story of Cinderella, she has two ugly stepsisters. She's stepmom, her father died, and she's treated very poorly by her siblings and then by her stepmom. And then one night she goes to a ball and she meets this prince, but at first she's not able to go to the ball. So there's like I want to say a witch, but a good witch. She grants her ability to have a dress, and also she makes her glass slipper. She turns lemons into lemonades, and she creates like this big ball or whatever. And so she's able to go to the banquet. And at the banquet, she dances with the prince. She ends up leaving a shoe behind, and the prince goes on this journey of like, let me find who this woman is, because she left this glass slipper behind. And he finally finds her because she fits the glass slipper, and they live happily ever after. So that's the story of Cinderella. I probably butchered it. If you want to watch a short reel, you probably YouTube it, you'll get the story of Cinderella. Now, the ugly stepsister is a story from the perspective of a stepsister. Yes, she was treated Cinderella wrong, but it also shows that she was trying to live up to the standards of her mom at the time. Cinderella in this story, her father was well off and about to marry the stepmother. And the stepmother is a little bit older woman because stereotypically, when there's an older guy and he has money, he typically goes with somebody younger. But instead, in this case of this story, the monitor is self-aware of like, okay, he should have went with a much younger woman, but he decided to go with me. And so they're about to get married or whatnot. And in the process of doing the fine print, she finds out that the guy ends up dying. The nature of his death, I'm a little fuzzy on, but yeah, he ends up dying, and so now the stepmom has to take care of Cinderella, but not also the stepsisters. And the stepsisters, they're giving wealth, they're treated very nicely, and they're given anything that they want in an effort to give them beauty. But Cinderella, she's just like a queen. She has this beauty that comes to her naturally, that she doesn't have to do all these modifications and stuff like that. So it definitely is a coming to age story. It shows the societal pressures to those beauty standards. And then it makes me think of like, okay, like I'm doing this, I'm doing that, but to what avail? Who am I changing myself for? Who am I appeasing to, right? Is it someone looking over my shoulders to appease this one or to appease that? And in reality, the prince really doesn't care all about that. It makes me think a lot about a commentary when I commentary on society of how we may think and see the world in one ways, but it's very different from reality. Especially if you talk about these podcast bros, or like the idea of like men like makeup and fat asses and all these other things. Like, yes, okay, that may be true in some retrospect, but when you get into reality and real day-to-day people aren't like that. People are more natural, people are more forgiving. I truly subscribe to John Cena's framework or idea that like he believes in the good in humanity. And in this film, it definitely highlights a lot about materialism. It talks about subscribing to that and what could be the befalls of that, and then also the pressure, the peer pressure that she gets in this film. And I think it's very masterful. It definitely stands the test of time. It's definitely something that you thought of, but you never seen it manifest. And I think that's what makes this film amazing. It's a story that's familiar, but then also new. And this is a film that I highly recommend. Again, it's one of those top films of 2025 if you see it on the list. It definitely does go underrated as a horror film. Some people may not see it as a horror film, but I think it's as much of a horror film as a body horror film. Like if you would talk about The Walrus or even The Substance, right? It's not to that degree because it is a timepiece, but it is willfully act. She does get her just desserts in this film, and I highly recommend that you do. It's even one that I recommended for my sister to watch. She's not really big on horror films, or at least I think she isn't, and she thoroughly enjoyed it. So if you get the chance, I highly recommend that you check out The Ugly Stepsister. It is on Shudder, but I also see that it's also on AMC as the uploading of this video. But since you made it to the end of the video, might as well as like, comment, have you seen the film? Are you going to see it? What are your thoughts? And as always, jarritos are on me. Subscribe.